Thanks for choosing to listen to this Late Night Linux Family podcast. We're only able to do this because of the people who support us. None of our shows are paywalled, but our Patreon supporters can get most episodes early and never hear any ads. Learn more at latenightlinux.com/support or support us by telling a friend or colleague about everything we do. Hello and welcome to episode 389 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 1st of June 2026. I'm Joe, and with me are Félim.
Hello.
Graham.
Good evening.
And Will.
Hello.
Firefox 151.0 see all new features, updates and fixes. Félim, you put this in. I looked at it and it didn't seem that interesting to me, but you've got to make the case to me why should we talk about this?
Well, I thought it was interesting that there seems to be a new VPN outbound point that you can pick, but I mean, that appears to not be the case for me because it doesn't seem to show up. I do like the new page, though, that you get on a fresh tab that you can customize. I mean, I've customized mine to almost nothing but grey with the Firefox logo, but it's kind of cool. Looks a bit flasher than just the old blank page.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because my son on his Windows box said, oh, what's this VPN thing? And I still haven't got it. And I am running 151 and I still don't have it. So I thought it was just me. Maybe some of the extensions I'd added had blocked it or something like that. But it's obviously not just me then.
No, not just you, I'm afraid. It's bloody annoying.
Yeah, I haven't got it on my standard installs, but when I do a new installation, like when I install a distro or whatever and open up Firefox, it's like trying to shove it down my throat. So it seemingly is targeting newer users, maybe. I don't know.
Weird.
But you have to have an account, a Firefox account for it.
Yeah, I do.
And yeah, previously you didn't get to pick your endpoint, but now you're saying that you do get to pick the country.
Apparently so. I don't get to even have the VPN, so
right.
Screws me, doesn't it? That new tab page thing, I think it's a bit... they slowly seem to be making it look a bit nicer. I wish they'd just get around to the bloody bookmark editor, because that is just an atrocity of 1970s Czechoslovakian concrete. It is fucking terrible. That is me speaking as going to a university in Dublin that had that look about it as well. Ours was the oldest building. Great. No, I think we should have nice things, even for bookmarks, even if people don't use them that much these days, because they're all hipsters and whatever. But yeah, let's fix some of the crunky old bits. That'd be nice. But my biggest reason for this being here is the fact that it fucking broke again on the 0 release. And I don't know who to blame. I don't know whether it's a PPA package issue that gets fixed every first .release, or is it a Firefox rushing it out the door, not fixing it?
You know what never breaks for me? The snap. Just updates, works fine.
Well, mine did until 150 was the start of the breakages, and then it was fixed in the point release. And again, it happened for this one.
Well, clearly snaps are better. That's the conclusion to draw here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
New lifetime Plex Pass pricing. So at the moment, you can get a Plex Pass for $250, I think. It's going up from the 1st of July to $750.
What?
Price of RAM.
I think this is one thing that we can't blame on that. But I mean, this is standard business shit, innit? Like, you announce the price increase to try and get people to spend loads of money now. But beware of anything that is lifetime. Anybody offering you a lifetime anything is a fucking charlatan, frankly, because they obviously are desperate for money. The fact that they ever had this in the first place was just a cash grab. And it's a fucking miracle they've lasted long enough to put it up by, 150%? I don't know about these percentages. 3 times the amount they've put it up. So, I mean, why anyone is still using Plex at this point baffles me when Jellyfin is great. But I know that people love it.
Think of all those DVDs you could buy for $750.
I mean, if you go to the charity shop, you can get them for £1 each these days, I think. So.
Yeah, I think you could get a lifetime supply of DVDs for that amount of money.
As that's when you come back and realise that you haven't had optical media in your system for about the last 10 years.
But then the trusty PS3 is in the cupboard. It's never let you down.
Yeah, and I've got my 2nd Gen i5 laptop that serves as a keyboard stand that has got an optical drive in it.
Yeah, this amount of money just seems crazy to me. I can't ever imagine spending that amount of money in one go on, well, anything really, not even a car, let alone a software subscription. It seems bonkers.
I mean, I've never understood why someone would want to use Plex, because I don't know the true ins and outs of this, but having to log in, the fact that it's proprietary, the fact that you've got all of your perfectly legitimately ripped DVDs on there for them to catalogue and see and know all about and perhaps give that information to other people one day has never sat right with me. Whereas Jellyfin, completely open source, completely self-hosted. If your internet goes down, you can still connect to the server over the LAN. That just seems like such a better idea to me. And I think one of the reasons for people using Plex is it takes care of all of the headachy stuff. I mean, I had this ongoing saga because I'm just thick and couldn't work out how to get hardware acceleration going on Jellyfin. Turns out it was just such a simple mistake I was making. But Plex just takes care of all of that. And it takes care of watching it while you're traveling and all of that kind of stuff. So I do understand the benefits of it, but in a world where Jellyfin exists, I want nothing to do with Plex, frankly.
I have to agree. It seems quite a simple argument to me that I'm just trying to avoid and disentangle myself from all subscriptions as much as I can.
Except supporting people on Patreon.
Yeah. But yeah, it just seems... Jellyfin is brilliant. The whole family uses it. Even my daughter, who gets remotely into Jellyfin. So yeah, I think it's just wonderful.
Will, you wanted to talk about Kagi, the search engine.
Yeah, so I was at a company event recently. As you know, I wasn't here. And I was chatting to people about how bad Google search has become. And everybody that I spoke to said, oh yeah, I use Kagi now. It's fine. And I pay for it. And there is a free tier, which gives you, I think, 500 searches or something, and then ends. Oh no, 100 searches. But that doesn't really seem enough to me to really get to grips with it. But I do think I'm interested in using it, and I do think that I'm interested in getting everybody to use it in my house. And so you can get a family plan for $20 a month, which, as you know, when I open my wallet, moths fly out. So it's quite a lot of money. And before I commit to doing that, I want to know if you guys are using it and how you find it. You strike me as the sort of people that probably say, yeah, I've been using it for months, and we just never talked about it.
Well, I have tried it briefly because Amalith uses it and he's a paying customer. And a year or so ago, there was an option then, I don't know if it still is now, for him to gift me a trial of it for 2 months or something like that. And I didn't stick with it. So what does that tell you? It tells you that, I don't know, at the time, Google was still better for me. But I know Jim enthusiastically uses it. So there are people in the Late Night Linux family enthusiastically using it, but I didn't quite get on with it.
I wonder if that is finger trouble more than search result. Like, are you just so conditioned to using it as your default search engine, or are you going through the omnibar in Firefox?
Well, I do a lot of my computing on my phone, as you know, and so I set it up on that. And I don't know, it was a while ago, so I can't fully remember, but I just felt like it just wasn't it.
Okay.
I can't put my finger on why. I think I need to learn how to use it again. I feel like I've used Google so long that I knew how to use it back before it got shit. And then it started to get worse and worse and worse. And I found workarounds for it. And I have managed to somehow stick with it. And it's just out of habit after 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I was talking to Martin Wimpress at the Ubuntu Summit quite a bit about it, and he brought up something quite interesting, because I have a combo of mainly Start Page, DuckDuckGo, and I think that's, at the moment, I think that might be about it. And I don't like any of them, and they're all kind of keep pushing nonsense up the top of them and stuff like that. So he was telling me about it, and the interesting thing that I found about it was he was talking about the small web, I think it was called, where all the people who are writing blogs that you thought had stopped writing blogs didn't, but Google just doesn't push them up there anymore. And that sounds very interesting. And I'm very prepared to pay money for a search engine that actually fucking searches for what I want to fucking search for, not the shite that you get for the first top 5. And like, even, I think, I don't know where, was it him that told me or somebody, where, you know, actually doing a search for something that you wanted, you'd have to end up going to like page 5. And I mean, I don't think anybody goes that far realistically. So I think it's well worth a go. And I'm going to probably try and give that a go in the next wee while.
Well, if that gifting free trial is still a thing, then someone will sort you out, Will. And like, I'm convinced that even talking about this, we are going to get more emails than if I said something like, well, I've never been able to install Linux on a ThinkPad. It just doesn't really work very well. Don't email me about that. That was a joke.
No, he said he really wants email. All of the emails.
Oh, yeah. I really want, yeah. Well, actually, my ThinkPad X270 runs Linux brilliantly. Yes, so does mine. I know it was a joke. But yeah, like, I've got a feeling our audience is all about Kagi at this point. Like, there's been some controversy about them doing some AI shit. I know you don't really care about that, but like, apart from that, I've heard very good things about it. It's just adapting to a new way of doing things, which maybe it's improved, maybe it's different, maybe it's more like the old Google now. I don't know.
Well, given everything else is going down the shitter, I think it's probably worth a go. Because, I mean, everything has changed, whether you wanted it to or not.
Yeah, and the good thing about Kagi as a search engine is that it's not just rebadged Bing. It's not just rebadged Google. It's its own thing.
Oh, Bing. Good luck, lads. The sound of found. Oh.
Well, that DuckDuckGo is just Bing, innit?
Yeah.
Fuck a bunch of that, frankly. So, yeah, I think I should try this again, like, especially if the gifting thing. I need to ask Amalith and Jim if they can do that still and maybe give it a go. Graham, are you still using Google then?
So I've used DuckDuckGo for a long time.
Right.
But I've developed the muscle memory of doing !G.
Right.
So the answer is kind of yes, but I do suffer that. But yeah, I use DuckDuckGo if I can, and I found myself using it more and more, not putting or at least trying the results from DuckDuckGo before I add the !G to search Google.
Right. And have you considered Kagi then?
I haven't. I'm tempted. I've read a few things about where the search comes from, so I don't want to, be jumping out of the frying pan and into the fire.
What do you mean?
What is Kagi's search backend? I guess it's a mixture of other things.
Well, my understanding was that, yeah, it was a mixture of various sources, including some of their own spider crawling.
It looks like they've got their own index, Techlists, which prioritizes personal websites, blogs, and this small web content, non-commercial sites, and sites with fewer ads and trackers. But they don't, as far as I can tell from this, they don't actually use like Google, Bing, etc. as the back end. They have APIs access into Wolfram Alpha, Apple Maps, Wikipedia, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Weather, etc. So I guess they are using services directly. And then a news index called TinyGem. So it does sound like quite a lot of it is their own searching.
Yeah, I take it back. It sounds quite good. I should give it a go.
Yeah, well, no doubt we'll get a lot of emails about this. And Will, I suspect you'll be using it next time we record.
Well, I'm just poking around on there now. I think I'm going to change my Omnibar setting now, and maybe in 2 weeks' time I'll have loved it or hated it.
Right, well, look forward to hearing how you get on. Will, you talked about a thing you're going to stick on your wall, like a mini tablet for controlling smart home shit, and loads of people wrote in to tell you about the Shelly wall display.
Yeah, the Shelly wall display, it's slightly more expensive, but roughly the same idea. It's about 150 quid, whereas the Sonoff one is more like 100. But this Shelly unit looks amazing. It's a metal aluminium shell, which looks really nice, really premium. And then the UI, it is running on Android again, but it is more of their own launcher or skin or whatever it is that sits on top of Android, and initially looked like a really nice unit. But I've done some digging and I feel like it's not quite as flexible as the Sonoff version. Both these devices do run Android. The Shelly device, if you want to use Home Assistant on there, then you can enable Home Assistant and then it opens a web view into your Home Assistant server, which is pretty much the same as it works on the old Sonoff device. But on the new Sonoff device, you install from F-Droid, the actual Home Assistant app, which is more or less a web view, but it does have some lower level integrations into the rest of the hardware. So I think Sonoff wins there very slightly. The other big difference between these two things, according to my research, which may well be wrong, is that the CPU in the new Sonoff, which is 50 quid cheaper, is quite a bit faster than in the Shelly version, and it's already pretty slow on the old version. So I think that is going to feel a bit sluggish when using Home Assistant. But the good thing is it does have a thermostat built in, like actual thermostat hardware that you can set to a particular temperature, and it will then toggle a relay on and off at that temperature. And if you like it, the Shelly UI, which supports all of the Shelly ecosystem, is right there, and you can configure it through a web browser, and it looks like quite a nice, easy to use, but slightly less flexible version of what is on the Sonoff device. So all things considered, it looks like a really nice, perhaps nicer unit. Looks really high-end, looks really smart. I think as a hacker, the Sonoff represents better value for money.
Plus, you've already ordered that.
And I've already ordered it, yes.
So you've all just come back from the Ubuntu Summit. I didn't go this time because I had too much going on. What did I miss out on? What did you learn at this Ubuntu Summit?
Well, I think you missed out, Joe. It was great fun. It was really lovely to see everybody from the show, and we got to hang out and we got to have a beer and we saw some really interesting talks. The first talk on the Wednesday opened up with Mark, and as you might expect, he launched straight into AI, and he was talking about how he sees open source really at the center of all AI that's going on around the world. And I think that is true. I think open source is in, if not the actual heart of the graphics cards, it is in every supporting system around it. So that's a win for Linux. And then Mark started speaking about Canonical's strategy for AI, and it came across as a sort of sandboxing strategy, really, where they've got snaps, they've got LexD, they've got VMs, and they've got micro VMs. And the new thing that they're talking about called Workshop, which kind of sits somewhere in between all of that, which is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit like Nix, really positions Ubuntu to be able to be part of the AI ecosystem, to be somewhere you can do actual work and that you can do it in a secure and confined manner.
Oh, wow. Really missed out on this then. Yeah, this sounds great.
Well, I think you should retract your criticism. I was obviously coming at more from your side, but I actually found a lot of the stuff was quite interesting when they were talking about things. And it definitely pointed out the fact that not even the decision to use AI anymore. It's just there already. I mean, we're lucky, you and I, Joe, that we don't have to use it day to day, but it is clearly just not even an issue at this point.
I reject that, but carry on.
After Mark had finished, John Seeger got up to talk, the VP of Engineering got up to talk about where we're going to see AI every day in Ubuntu. And this is the bit, Joe, where you might need to go for a little stroll around the block. We are going to see AI on the desktop in Ubuntu, but in places and ways where it makes so much sense to me, especially with two really important developments. One is in accessibility, where AI can do so much more for you than a screen reader can, where a screen reader can tell you the text that's under the pointer or what button you're on. AI will be able to do things to describing what's on the screen. If you've got a web browser up and it's describing the scene that's on the screen, I think that is going to be really interesting, really useful, and will do things for accessibility that were previously impossible. And the big win, because it means I get a point at the end of the year, is speech to text on every input field in Ubuntu. Yes.
Hasn't happened yet, we'd like to point out. But yeah.
I am very excited about the ability to be able to just talk into my terminal. Yes, I'm sure it's mad, but I'd like to do it. But really, I'm excited about talking into chat apps and whatever corporate communication system we have where I want to convey hundreds of words and I have to type it all out, and now I don't have to. So I'm very excited by that.
Fair enough. What about you, Félim? What did you learn?
Quite interestingly, one of the talks was by a Red Hat engineer, Joseph from Puerto Rico and happens to be a fan of the show, which is quite cool. Came up to me with a very suspicious look on his face. I was like, oh God, what have I done? But that was about Boot C, which is quite cool. So Boot C, you can take a standard distro and containerize it with a set of commands, and then you can sort of roll out a container to either a fleet of machines or a particular device type or whatever. And it looked really good because often these things require massive tool change and stuff, whereas this was all built into itself. So it was actually so simple to do between the two. And it was nice to see an alternate distro person that was not a Canonical folk there and giving a talk about it as well. So that was kind of nice to see that. I think one of the coolest talks was one of the NVIDIA guys. So there's a few NVIDIA people there with various different bits for, obviously, well, surprise, surprise, the hardware AI stuff. But there was an ex-Met Office person, Niall, from NVIDIA, and he was developing Earth 2. And that was absolutely amazing. The funniest thing about that was the fact that they had a simulation of Earth going on. Now, he's very careful to say that we're not using this as weather forecasting yet. But what they do is compare it to current predictions versus actual things that happened and then see how it turned out. And, he made the joke, well, I actually forgot to label which was which in this photo, but I think you can tell that they're almost the same picture. So that was quite cool. And the funny thing about that is that it allows the scientists to work on that stuff with less energy usage than would be the normal case, because in their case, they're using these absolutely massive cluster systems to do that, whereas this allows them to do it on a workstation, which is pretty amazing. So that is the first time I think that we've seen AI energy use being cheaper than the current sort of one.
All right. And Graham, you were there in a work capacity, but you must have learnt stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, because even if you're at Canonical, it's quite difficult to get an invite to the Ubuntu Summit. So it certainly helps that I'm involved with the podcast. Also, I do help a little bit with the organisation of the summit itself. And you might expect this to be a very kind of corporate messaging event, but okay, admittedly I work for Canonical, but I thought it was quite a really nerdy deep dive into a lot of very specific and sometimes niche subjects. I mean, I think the first talk after Mark was about a desktop environment in a web browser called Pewter. And Nariman Jalve, it was his project, although it's a small company now, but his talk was really about the history of what led him to this development and then the challenges he faced while trying to solve this problem. So it was really interesting in a kind of life cycle of an open source project kind of phase. And in fact, he talked a little bit about that later on, about how it was originally closed source and then he was convinced by Reddit, funnily enough, to make the project open source. And honestly, I felt everything was rather geeky. My other favourite was a talk by Giacomo Cavalieri, who talked about a minimal programming language called Gleam. And he was just such a character, did it in such a great way that, it felt a little bit like a Linux user group meetup.
I was almost convinced I wanted to try functional programming from it.
Yeah.
That takes some fucking effort.
Yeah. I mean, all of these videos are on YouTube, so people can watch this.
That Pewter talk was interesting because they showed a desktop rendered in a web browser, and my immediate assumption was, they're just streaming bits from the back end via like a virtual frame buffer. But no, they have re-implemented an entire desktop in HTML5, and the actual desktop is running inside your browser, and the back end is in the cloud, fine, but the front end is your browser. It was extraordinary. There are two other things I wanted to talk about as well. The first, they're both kind of security related. The first one is that curl ignores certificate revocation, which means that if you use curl to download something from HTTPS and the website at the far end's SSL certificate has been cancelled and removed, curl does not care and will download it anyway. And so the chaps there from UPKI were talking about what they want to do for all of Linux now, and anyone that uses curl, but operating system CLI tools as well, to bring browser level security to command line tools. And this is interesting from a privacy perspective, because if you were to go to a service every time you went to a website and say, is this website legitimate? Is the certificate valid? Can I go here? You would leak every single website you were going to. And if you were to download every single valid certificate or every single invalid certificate, it would be absolutely insanely huge and you wouldn't be able to fit it on your computer. So they've come up with a very clever compression system using Bloom filters or something like a Bloom filter to allow you to not only track all the websites that are not trusted, but also do it in a very small privacy maintaining manner. So that's pretty cool, I thought. And then the last one is much quicker. Full disk encryption backed by TPM, backed by YubiKeys and things like that, with full escrow of keys so that if you forget your key, you can recover your disk. I'm sure there's more to it than that, but that was my takeaway. It sounds like a good thing for me.
I thought the two things you're going to mention was DuckDB and Meshtastic, because both of those were awesome.
Well, yes.
Let's be realistic, there was lots of cool stuff. It was impossible to choose.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it was a great event, AI bullshit aside. And I'll put a link to the timetable and also the YouTube channel with the videos on it. And it seems like there's more videos appearing all the time. Right, well, we better get out of here then. We'll be back next week when who knows what we'll be talking about. Until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Félim.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.